well, what if I feel like I was born a fish and there's no restaurants for fish and there's no bathrooms for fish? I need a sign that says that fish can go here, right? Or else how else will I feel like I'm welcome into this unique stall? And that's where we're at. So we should stop taking ourselves seriously as like a human race. That's like my general perspective on everything that's going on.
Candace Owens calls out America's most spoiled generation. Hey guys, this is Isabella Moody from Resist the Mainstream. Make sure you give today's video a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe to our channel, and we will get right into it.
If you are living and breathing in America right now, you are a part of a generation that is the most spoiled and privileged that has ever lived in the face of the planet in all of human history. And what happens when you are actually remarkably privileged is that you start looking to complain, right? It's like when life gets really good is when you start complaining about really small things, unimaginable battles that you're having today if you just have a conversation with your grandparents, right? And what they had to face growing up. That's always my litmus test when people ask me, oh my gosh, Candace, how do you deal with all the attacks, the media, people tweeting at you and saying mean stuff? I'm like, man, imagine if I had to say to my grandfather that the thing that was so tough was I opened the internet and someone said something mean to me.
I love that she's saying this because it's just so true. First of all, I don't know why anyone complains about online hate. Yes, it can get overwhelming. I get my fair share of it, but it's like you can literally like turn your device off and stop reading the hate. People back then actually had to go through trouble, hardship. Maybe they couldn't afford food. Maybe there was war. Maybe there were actually laws that were against them. These sort of things. Like people actually used to live through hard times, or even way back then when people could just kill each other. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Like life today is so easygoing, and everyone is just so privileged that we complain. And hey, I am guilty of this. Ask my husband. I am a serial complainer, or at least I used to be, because he doesn't allow me to complain because no one wants that negative spirit around them.
It's so ridiculous. We're ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I can just opt out. I don't need to be on Twitter. I don't need to be on Instagram. Exactly. It's like granddad was living in the segregated South when he grew up, and I'm sad about a tweet. Like it doesn't work for me, right? It just doesn't work. And so the first thing to do is to recognize that all of us are tremendously privileged to even be having these debates, these abnormal debates that I genuinely believe sometimes are being driven out of a boredom. I think it's natural for every generation to want to believe that they have triumphed something, right? Like you're just sort of like, we are the generation that ended segregation. Yay, go 1960s. We are of a generation that protested and put an end to the Vietnam War. Yay, go 1970s. Then you get to now, and we're kind of doing okay, right? We're like, things are looking pretty good. And so people just need to complain about things, and that's when you get into like, well, what if I feel like I was born a fish and there's no restaurants for fish and there's no bathrooms for fish? I need a sign that says that fish can go here, right? Or else how else will I feel like I'm welcome into this unique stall? And that's where we're at. So we should stop taking ourselves seriously as like a human race. That's like my general perspective on everything that's going on. And it's interesting also to consider psychology because I was just tweeting about this because it's only until you are removed from the system, which is to say you guys are not yet outside of the system, right? We get kicked out of our parents' house, kindergarten, and then like suddenly you're in high school, you've got your friends, you get in the swing of things, and your guidance counselor's like, no, if you don't go to college, you're a failure, you're gonna fail in life, right? You better sign up and take out a bunch of loans and something that you absolutely cannot afford, and you don't even understand these 3,000-page documents, especially if you're like me, and I come as a first-generation college kid. My mother didn't even graduate high school. So you imagine me signing up for loans. I had no idea what I was looking at. And you are willing to go into debt because there's this kind of pressure to just go to college, even though you have no idea what you want to do. You have no idea.
And that is so true. I remember in college, almost everyone I knew were switching their majors all the time. They had no idea what they wanted to do. Why would you pay so much money and take out tens of thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans if you don't even know what you want to do with your life? Does your career field even require a degree? Probably not. Most career fields, or Well, a lot of career fields will maybe require maybe a bachelor's degree, but it doesn't even necessarily need to be like in the major that you chose. There's just a lot of time and money wasted on universities, and this is something I love talking about because I regret even going to college. It was a waste of my time and money. I always say this, but I really do not recommend you sending your kids or grandkids to college unless they want to become like, I don't know, a doctor, a lawyer. Career fields that we know for a fact need a college degree. But yeah, why are you signing up for these fat loans before you even know what you want to do with your life? Seriously. And I cannot believe I honestly the whole idea of the guidance counselor shoving college down high school students' throats, that's literally what happened. That is collusion. Okay, that is collusion between the guidance counselors and the universities. These people are supposed to be adults that high school students can look up to for help, and they quite literally help push this college scam onto kids. And let me just tell you, I've never liked guidance counselors. Guidance counselors have never liked me either. So I knew that these people were a-holes, to say the least. Shout out to the guidance counselors out there. I despise your career field. Yeah, let's get back to the video.
No idea what I was doing, but I knew that I had to do the thing because the guidance counselors were telling you, like, you'd be a failure if you did it otherwise. And then you sort of get into college, and you don't realize it yet, but you're getting an education, you're learning some things, but you're not getting a true understanding because a lot of these universities very much exist to tell you what to think and not how to think.
Bingo. I mean, Candace always is always correct. But yeah, colleges actually want to make you stupid. They want you to just blindly follow the lies and the left-wing narrative that they push. They don't want you to think, because a smart, informed, and critical and skeptical population, hold on, let me restart that part. Because a smart, critical, and skeptical population is not one that's easy to control. So, of course, they want to dumb us down. They want to just tell us how to think or what to think. And yeah, don't do that. Always question everything. Look up things yourself. Always make sure you're checking the sources, because obviously sources will like have their own interests at heart, or maybe they're colluding with someone, or you know what I'm talking about. I feel like I'm not explaining that correctly, but check your sources. A dumb population is easier to control. So, of course, that's what they want to do to college students, because that's the next generation that's going to be entering the workforce, voting, etc., etc. But this audience here is not dumb. We question everything. We resist the mainstream, and that's all we have time for today, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.